Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Midwest Medium Podcast. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I want to talk about the 12 truths that I've learned about mediumship. Now, if you follow my work, you may have seen that I did write a blog post about this, and that was back in November. But I feel that it's important to make sure that I share it again because I do understand that everyone is into reading blog posts. Some people are more into podcasts. Some people are more into reading newsletters. I mean, social media. There's so many different ways to get information. And this is, I believe, an important topic, especially since, I am focused on trying to normalize mediumship. And this topic is really important to me. So let's talk about the 12 truths about mediumship. So basically, it's pretty simple. I wanted to somehow qualify what a mediumship reading is like without sharing an actual reading because I do honor my clients' privacy and I don't share readings. So what I'm about to talk about today is basically a list based on my own experiences as a mediumship client for over a decade and as a medium who reads for clients now. And really, this episode is intended to help you understand what to expect during your mediumship reading. Now, first and foremost, I tell people all the time, you can talk to your departed loved ones, your spirit guides, and your guardian angels anytime you want. You don't need a medium for you to tell you your grandmother. You don't need a medium to tell your grandmother that you love her. You can tell her that you love her and miss her anytime that you want. They are with you often and they do hear your words to them. They do feel your intention. They do know that you're talking to them. And in fact, they often ask that you talk to them more. So when I'm in a reading that comes through a lot, whether it's from a loved one or guides and angels, they want for you to have that relationship. So it's always encouraged. And I tell people all the time, you don't need me to talk to your grandma or your deceased child or your deceased loved one, whoever it is. Where I come in handy is when they want to communicate back. Another thing that's important to know about a mediumship reading is that some things will make sense later. And a lot of mediums should offer a recording. I offer recordings. I do most of my readings over Zoom. I offer recordings. Some people want the recording, some people don't. No judgment either way. There's not an extra fee for the recording. If you want it, great. I give it to you. If you don't, that's okay. We don't record it. So, but it's nice to have the recording because some things will make sense later. And this is really normal. So if your medium offers to record your session, I really encourage you to take advantage of that so you can watch it back later. And if not, take notes. It's easy to forget the small details during your reading. They can be really important when it comes to validating information with your family and friends at a later time. Something else I want to make sure that you're aware of is that your privacy will be honored in your mediumship reading. Whether you're in a private or group setting, spirit will honor your privacy if there is that one deep, dark secret that you really don't want revealed. If spirit has a message for you about this, they will deliver it to your medium in a way that does not make sense to your medium or to the group, but it will make sense to you. And ultimately, that's what's important. I tell people all the time, it's your reading, it's not mine. It's okay that it doesn't make sense to me as long as it makes sense to you. That's what matters. I believe that you do deserve to have a reading. Some people believe that they do not deserve to connect with their departed loved ones or spirit team for whatever the reason is. The reason isn't my business, but I am here to tell you that you do deserve to have a reading. Every one of us is a child of God, and we all have the ability to connect with Him, our spirit team, and our loved ones who have graduated to the other side. So, if a reading is something that you're interested, but you just don't feel worthy of doing it, please really reconsider because everyone deserves to have a reading. And what's fun to know is that your reading pleases heaven. Your loved ones and your spirit team are always so happy and grateful that you took the time to connect with them. It really means a lot to them, and they will often express their gratitude during your reading. So that's important to know also. Validations are huge. Validations are important for you and they're important for your medium. This is also known as evidential mediumship. It is important for you as the client to receive as many validations as possible. The deceased's physical description, their personality, memories, their occupation, cause of death, hobbies, marital status, etc. I tell my clients all the time, I try to get as much of that information as possible so that I can give the client as much proof, as much validation as possible. As a medium, it's my job to advocate for you to get as much information as possible. And in return, it is important for you to validate as much as possible for your medium so that we know that we're on the right track, meaning it's important for your medium to know that they are discerning the information from spirit correctly. I have learned that if you refuse to validate something that is true, but you're in denial, spirit will pause or slow down the reading. When this happens, I feel like I'm walking through molasses. It's very uncomfortable for me when it happens, and it can and does happen. So don't deny something that your medium is giving you when you know it's true. Even if you maybe are feeling a little bit embarrassed, if your medium is qualified, they will not judge you. I tell people all the time, there is no judgment from me during a reading. So really think of it as being put in a timeout for refusing to acknowledge something that you know is true and correct. You don't want that. You want to maximize the time and money that you put into a reading. So why waste time denying something that you know is true? It really doesn't make sense. Also, what's important for you to know, and I tell people this all the time also, is that the medium controls nothing. I tell people all the time that spirit is in the driver's seat, but I will advocate for you as much as I can. Spirit decides what we discuss, which is based on what you have earned for that day and whether or not you will receive answers to your questions. I'm really just your Amazon delivery guy. I don't know what's coming in your package, but it's what you've earned for that day. I control nothing. Something else that I really want you to know is that what comes through during your reading is what you have earned and what your loved one on the other side has earned. So it's definitely consider it like a work reward situation. Yes, I said you deserve to have a reading, but you do not walk into the reading with an attitude of entitlement or with outrageous expectations. The lower your expectations are, the better. And I've talked about this before on the episode, in episode 16. Whatever messages you receive during your reading is what heaven, God, has decided you've earned for that day. The same goes for your deceased loved ones. They need to earn the right to visit and communicate with you during your reading. So think of your mediumship reading as a gift and a blessing because truly that is what it is. Be grateful and express your appreciation to spirit throughout your reading and when the reading is over. Now, I talk about what you've earned. Now, sometimes, like I said, I'm your advocate. The medium is your advocate. We can ask questions, but whether or not you're going to receive an answer is not up to the medium. It's what you've earned. And I asked Oracle Marine a question about 10 years ago, and I didn't receive an answer until this year. So it took 10 years for me to get an answer, and I had to earn it. So it does happen. Another thing I want to remind you about is that everything that comes through is for your greatest and highest good. It is true and very important to remember, especially if you receive a message that might be difficult to hear. So maybe you're up for a promotion, you really, really want the promotion, you have worked really hard, you've been with the company for a long time, and you're asking your medium if you're going to get their promotion, and the answer that is coming through is no. That's going to be really hard for you to hear. You're not going to want to hear that answer, and you might be a little upset with your medium. That happens. But you don't know why is the answer no? Is the answer no because a better opportunity might be coming along? So that's just one example. Everything that comes through is for your greatest and highest good. Your reading is confidential. If your medium is qualified, your reading is confidential. Find a medium who has a high standard of ethics. This is why you won't see clips of my clients' readings on my social media pages or my website. Just like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, what happens in a reading stays in the reading. You decide who you want to share your reading with, not me. Yes, I record some. I send them to my clients when the recording is finally downloaded with Zoom. I send it to my client and I tell my client to download it on their end if they wish to keep it long term because I save it on my cloud for about a week and then it's gone. I don't share it with anyone. I am the only person that has access to my Zoom account. Um, it is 100% confidentiality over on my end with readings, and that's really important. So if you're looking for a medium, make sure it's someone that has that same standard of ethics. Before your reading, take time to relax. Allow yourself a minimum, this is a minimum number of 10 minutes prior to your reading to disconnect from noise, stressful situations, people, social media, the news, your phone, etc. By doing this, you are allowing your energy to center and calm down. This will put you in a more receptive state for your reading, which will benefit you. If you can do this for 20 or 30 minutes before your reading, that really is ideal, but 10 minutes is really better than nothing. And the one thing, if you're to take away one thing from this episode, this is it. All of these are important, but I really want you to know this one thing for sure. There is no judgment, only love during a mediumship reading. I was really nervous all those years ago when I walked into my first mediumship reading. 12 years ago now. I was actively worried about judgment. I quickly learned that there is none during a reading, and everything truly came from love. And it's been proven to me over and over through the years as a mediumship client and as the medium, everything comes from love. Now that I'm reading for others, like I mentioned, it continues to be true. So I hope this puts your mind at ease a little bit if you are someone who's listening who's considering having a mediumship reading, but you're nervous or you're not sure what to expect or how things are going to go. Um, there's a lot of fantastic mediums out there, and I just feel like we don't talk enough about what to expect. We talk about the magical side of it all, which is obviously communicating with those who have passed, but we don't talk about the expectations, how it works, what's normal, what's not normal during a reading, that kind of thing. I mean, I can't say that you can put mediumship into a box and that it's going to be one set way every single time because that's not true. Everything is so unique and individualized. But these things that I've talked about today, I have found over years of being a participant in mediumship that these things are true. So I hope it brings you some peace. I hope it answers some questions. And I thank you so much for listening today. Namaste.